Just waiting for Ms. Lopez. While we wait for Ms. Lopez, let me call the civil case on the docket. C-3106-20-L, Priscilla Chapa versus Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Limited.
Your Honor, good morning. Zeke Moy on behalf of Doctors Hospital Renaissance.
Good morning, Judge Terry Canales and Oscar Alvarez on behalf of Priscilla Chapa, Your Honor.
Your Honor, Ernie Aliceva here as well on behalf of Doctors Hospital Renaissance.
Judge, this morning we have a quick announcement and an update for the court.
Okay, go ahead.
So since the last hearing, Your Honor, the DHR staff and physicians have been diligently working to find GianCarlo a physician willing to take on the care. That has been now completed, is my understanding. The complication that we now have is the ventilator. As I stated in the last hearing, we did find a medical equipment company willing to provide the staffing and the equipment. The ventilator that was brought down was insufficient for GianCarlo's. GianCarlo was unable to tolerate it. And so a new, different type of ventilator needs to be brought down. And so they are in the process of making that happen. And then they being the healthcare staff, needs to give it a run, make sure that GianCarlo can tolerate this new ventilator. And so I've spoken with Mr. Canales and Mr. Alvarez, and we're in agreement to extend the deadline through Friday. And we can submit an order to that effect.
That's correct, Judge. And I do want to let the court know that we've been working diligently with Doctors Hospital at Renaissance, and they've been trying very diligently to try to find a ventilator that is suitable for GianCarlo. And it's my understanding that they've already got an alternative. And since we've already gone through the motions and we've got all these things in place, the question is just finding the right machinery to get him transferred home with mother, which is the goal. And we're just asking the court to extend this basically till Friday for a status so that we can figure out where we're at.
Okay. So everything's ready. All that's needed is a ventilator, an appropriate ventilator for the child. Right?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
Yes, Judge.
And if this other ventilator that you're trying to procure at this time is insufficient, is there a plan B?
Your Honor, I do not have one that I'm aware of as I sit here today.
That's one of the discussions that's been ongoing with the family is obviously the question that the court just asked. And it's obviously the court's in tune with the problem is that we've got one piece of the puzzle missing, and that is the ventilator. And so the ventilator, obviously, they brought did not function to the capacity that was necessary. We're hoping that it will. And I guess that's the reason we're asking for the court to give us a status on Friday so that we can see where we're at. Because at this point, the limited nature of the machinery that we're seeking doesn't really give us a position to seek a plan B right now. We're hoping that the plan that's in place works, and it's kind of a play-by-play, Judge.
I have no problem extending the order to Friday and setting a status conference for set it at 11 a.m. on Friday and see where we are. When are you going to have the ventilator available?
My understanding is it's en route to the hospital, Judge, and then there needs to be a time period that they test it and make sure GianCarlo can tolerate it. But to the extent that we need to come up with another plan, I'm sure that Mr. Canales and Mr. Alvarez and DHR and myself can figure something out.
So is Friday too short of a time period? I mean, I don't know how long the DHR would need to make sure that the ventilator is sufficient for the child.
Friday should be sufficient time based on our current plan, Judge.
We seem to be moving a lot quicker, Judge, than we had been in the past. And so, and just so the court's aware and knows all the details, I believe it's my understanding, speaking with the mother, Ms. Chapa, that the doctors conveyed to her that the reason was after the ventilator was placed, the child started to have heart arrhythmias. And so there's a transition period. And so I believe that they're going to begin that transition period again today with the new ventilator. And if we've got some issue, I think by Friday, we would know what the issue is.
Okay. All the other issues have been taken care of. I know nutrition had been an issue. I don't know if that's been sufficiently addressed or not.
Judge, the nutrition that's being administered is per the order, which is
Okay.
dextrose.
So I do want to raise that, because if not, I'd be remiss. My client has asked me, and I know we've had this discussion with Mr. Aliseda and the doctors. My understanding is that the nutrition that they're requesting, the family's requesting, would cause a problem because of potential aspiration. I'm not sure. I'm not a physician, Judge, but I do know that right now, as of now, the doctors are saying that it's sufficient nutrition, but there's got to be a weaning off because of the transfer of the ventilators. And there's a danger if they're, because of transferring ventilators, the nutrition could have an adverse effect on the transfer. But once the transfer takes place, the supplemental nutrition would be replaced. That's my understanding, Judge. And I think hopefully if we can get a transition today, we would be in a lot better shape from a nutrition standpoint.
But then at that point, it's no longer DHR. It'd be, he'll be under the care of another physician.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. All righty. Okay. Well, let's set a status then for Friday. Yes, Mr. Alvarez.
Your Honor, I just want to put on the record why I wasn't here the last time. Will the court allow me?
Go ahead.
Your Honor, I was in a vehicle that had mechanical issues. I was left stranded in the Baja California desert at about 115 degrees. I had to walk about 7 miles to get to the highway for about 12 hours all night. I had no phone and no water until I got to the highway. At that time, when I had cell phone coverage, I called the court at 10 a.m. West Coast time, which was about noon here. And the court advised me that DHR had agreed to extend pursuant to the filing as I had requested. I was hired to get 14 days. Because of the agreement we just read into the record, it's going to be 21 days. I've been trying to communicate with Ms. Chapa. She doesn't return my calls. She doesn't return my texts. I see that Terry Canales has been hired. And so I would ask that I be allowed to withdraw at this time.
We don't have any objection to that, Judge. And Mr. Alvarez has been in communication with me since he had that event. And I can confirm that those were the facts as he recited to me. And Ms. Chapa does not have any objection to him withdrawing from the matter. They want to thank him for his service.
I'll just need a proposed order to that effect just to make it clear on the record. Well, I'm glad to hear you're well, Mr. Alvarez, and I'll allow the substitution of counsel at this time.
And just so the record reflects, Judge, and Mr. Aliseda obviously knows, and Mr. Moya, my firm has been representing him on collateral issues, and so this isn't somebody that's I'm not just stepping in. We've been on the telephone in communication with, including Mr. Alvarez, Aliseda, and Mr. Moya for the past almost 30 days, and so my firm is well versed in what's going on, and it's not that we're just coming in today. So the court's aware that we understand what the issues are in their entirety.
I'm glad to hear that you are up to speed on what's going on and that you don't have to learn the case from the beginning. So, okay, I'll allow a substitution of counsel in this case. We'll set this case for a status on Friday at 11 a.m. The temporary restraining order will be extended to 11:59 p.m. on Friday as well. If you need a written order, please submit it, but I believe my oral order should be sufficient.
Thank you, Judge.
Anything else? You're excused. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, going back